Hello, and on behalf of Conference Getaway, I'd like to welcome and thank you for taking busy time out of your day to view our presentation. In the next 15 minutes or so, I'm going to be covering the basic concept of our program and how it's being designed to develop a mutually beneficial business relationship with travel agencies like yours. First off, I'll start off by introducing myself. I'm John Schelling, Certified Financial Planner, Certified General Accountant. I've been in the financial planning industry for over 25 years now. During that time, I've been advising and helping my clients of business owners, individuals, and families implement and monitor their wealth management strategies. Now, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why I developed and came up as a founder of Conference Getaway. But first off, I want to go to the very first slide in our presentation, and I'll let you pause here to read over just the inherent limitations of this presentation. I do want to draw your attention to two acronyms I'm going to be using throughout this presentation: CGY, which will be my reference to Conference Getaway, and CRA, a reference to our beloved Canada Revenue Agency. So let's talk about the concept of Conference Getaway and how I feel it's a huge potential for business, both in your industry and ours, in a partnership. First off, both my wife Tracy and I have a passion for travel, and we've just found that the absolute positive aspects we've got both in our personal and professional lives from our experiences traveling, and I'm happy to, or quite proud to say, that we've actually touched foot on all 7 continents of the planet. And as I say, those positive aspects that traveling has brought back for us is just unfolded greatly for us in both our personal and professional lives. So I'm a very strong believer in the positive aspects of travel. Also, I mentioned I'm in the financial planning industry, and I've been fortunate to be able to attend many, many conferences, some of them ranging from half-day local conferences to overseas conferences that go on for a week or more in duration. The takeaways from these conferences have been invaluable to me and my business and my practice and the success that I've had. I find the networking with my colleagues, as well as the various educational presentations that are put forth on these conferences, is a tremendous tool in helping build and maintain a successful business. So I'm a big believer in conferences. Thirdly, our research shows, or my research has showed, that convention expenses are the most underutilized deduction claimed on business returns. CRA allows businesses to have up to two conferences per year and be able to tax deduct the expenses, even the travel related expenses to those conferences, provided that the compliance issues are met. What we're seeing is that these deductions aren't being used, and that definitely points to an opportunity in that it's showing that Canadian business owners either aren't aware of or don't have the resources or the desire to book these conferences on their own. Huge opportunity both for the travel business and your travel business, and for us as suppliers of financial products and conference platforms. So let's just take a look now at the actual concept. Conference Getaway is really a platform that can be accessed online. Pardon me. And what this platform will allow business owners to do is go in and set up and document their destination conferences. And the setup is important from the standpoint is that it will help them organize the conference in terms of times, dates, agendas, participants, etc., topics, and on and on. The documentation is very important in that the documentation will provide support should CRA ever want to assess or audit their financial statements. The business owner will have documentation to provide or to support their tax deductions. Documentation is also important as a library, if you like, a resource that businesses can go back to or business owners can go back to and access information or feedback that they received in their conferences or during their conferences during the actual presentation of the agendas. I found this to be very valuable. With conferences, oftentimes the feedback and the post-conference information is even more valuable than the actual presentation. So it provides a library of resource for businesses to go back and use the information they got from their conference to carry their business going forward. As I mentioned, this destination conference where an individual checks or a business owner wants to go to a specific destination is the travel expenses are tax deductible if set up properly. Now we also provide, the platform also provides the business owner with the option of having a destination sponsor. And a destination sponsor, let me explain that. If I'm going on a conference and I use Conference Getaway and I want to go to Miami and set up at my own 2-day, 3-day conference, if I go down and set the conference up and attend, say, a bunch of online courses and then come back and if my deductions or my returns are ever assessed or CRA wants to look at the supporting documentation for my conference, if they see I've taken a bunch of online courses down in Miami, they could very possibly challenge those deductions. The reason being that one of the criteria that CRA sets is you have to have a geographic purpose for going to your destination. They're going to say, well, you could have taken those online courses back here at home. So what a destination sponsor fulfills is that would be a business coach or business advisor, or even possibly a client or potential prospect or supplier in the travel destination that the business owner is setting the conference up in. That provides the geographic purpose, that face-to-face with that specific individual or specific firm. That is a very important factor behind what we're doing at Conference Getaway. So we have, as you will see later, a network of destination sponsors to provide that geographic purpose if the business owner requires that. Now, where we're looking for your agency to partner with us, we want you to process and provide all the travel arrangements. Conference Getaway is not a, we do not want to be involved in the travel business. Our platform, as I've just mentioned, is documenting and helping the business owner become aware and setting up the conference. We look to your agency to provide all the travel arrangements. The great thing about Conference Getaway is that the platform itself allows you to determine the amount of involvement you want. If you want to just work on travel arrangements only, then that's fine. You can then, through your exclusive access, offer your business owner or your business client the access to the site. They can complete their information and set up their own agenda or use the site support services, which I'll go into later, to do that. So you can, however, if you want to help the client set up their agenda, you could charge out on a fee-for-service basis, or perhaps you just want to help the client to build a relationship. The site itself is very easy to use, and we will be covering that in another webinar. But essentially, you can determine your level of involvement. And your agency will be given exclusive site access. So your client will be able to see our site on the internet, but they will not be able to access it through our website. They will have to be able, pardon me, they will have to go to your agency to gain access to our website. So they won't be able to end around you, if you like, on the internet. Now, our target market is going to be small and medium-sized businesses. And again, that's not to say that this platform can't accommodate larger businesses. It can. But our belief is that these underutilized deductions that I talked about earlier are coming primarily from small and medium-sized businesses. That's where our market is. The second reason is that larger businesses often have either internal staffing or external agencies, and I know you as an agency, are aware of these, that will set up their own conferences for them. And this isn't always the case, and we shouldn't presuppose that, but where we feel the opportunity is on these small to medium-sized businesses. And what I mean by a small to medium-sized business is a firm with anywhere from a sole proprietorship right through to, say, 5 to 7 shareholders. And staff could be, pardon me, anywhere from 1 to 40 or 50. The great thing with this particular conference, and this is something I want to emphasize, this platform, is that the company doesn't have to take all the staff with them on the destination. The owner or owners, and even key personnel, if they wanted, could go to the destination, set up the conference, and then through audio-visual connections via the net, connect the rest of their staff to any part of those presentations they want them to be part of. As long as you've fulfilled the geographic purpose for going to a spot, you don't have to take your whole office, because that would be very expensive and impractical. So why would businesses avail themselves to this service? Well, the first thing is that it allows them to custom design their conferences and design specific agendas. And I'll relate in my own experience. When I go on conferences, most of them are insurance and financial or investment related. And even though we're all the people attending the conference are all from the same venue as far as the industry goes, we each have our own different way of running our practices. So what I very often find is a lot of the presentations, while interesting, really have nothing to do with my business, even though I'm licensed to be able to facilitate those resources. This particular venue will allow the business owner to custom design the agendas to those topics and those presentations that pertain specifically to them and that they are interested in. And as I mentioned, it allows the business owner to tax deduct this trip and accommodate a holiday along with it. For example, going back to my example of going down to Miami, if I decide to stay in Miami or the Florida area for a week and I have a 3-day conference, I can tax deduct that portion that belongs to the conference. So it's combining the travel opportunity with business in a desired location, and that is key. It's a desired location. Often conferences are held in destinations that are not attractive to potential participants. So the steps your agency it would be involved in, well, we would like, obviously, that we develop this platform, awareness of this platform. It works for both our businesses. You get the travel business. We get the referral business through the platform setup. We'd be happy to do some joint marketing support to increase awareness. This is not just for business clientele. One of the things I hear, well, excuse me, it is just for business clientele, but just not your existing. This is a tremendous opportunity to grow your market, if you like. As I've mentioned earlier, I feel that this is something that's very underutilized and would be a very attractive business builder and very attractive benefit for business owners, both from business development and the ability to travel. So this is something you want to get out there to build your business market and build a niche in that particular area. Many of you have access to large conference providers. This is something totally different. This is custom designed platform, a custom design platform that is ready to go as soon as you find a qualified business registrant. You would be profiled on our site as a sponsoring agent. So as I mentioned, people would come to our site, they would see the supporting agencies, and they can only access the site through you, through your agency. You get to determine your involvement. You can do travel only, or you can build a fee for service if you want to help the client build the conference agenda. One of the neat things is you're going to see in a minute, and I'll bring it out a little bit later, is that you could actually use our site support to do the same thing for your client, build their agenda, and you can do that through our site support, which would be far less costly for you and bill out for accessing that service. Again, I've talked about this a couple of times. Site access will only be provided through your agency. Now, we're going to charge a fee per registrant. That's how we make our money on this. We're going to be looking at a charge initially of $99 per conference. Now, site support, there'll be a lot of site support. As I mentioned, we have destination business advisors. We're working now with some associations that have a worldwide network of business and lifestyle coaches. And we will be picking and choosing those individuals and destinations that fit our criteria. Again, this provides for those clients that needed a geographic purpose. And just to emphasize, you may have or run into clients that don't need that. They may be going to Paris, for example. They have a client or a supplier there already there. They can use that as their geographic purpose. They don't have to use the lifestyle coaches or the business coaches here. However, a lot of people will not have a specific geographic purpose or want to try and find one for a specific location. These coaches will provide that geographic purpose, but more importantly too, part of this for ease of setting up the conference is these coaches, along with our library that I'll explain in a minute, will populate the conference with agenda topics and on top of the geographic purpose. So it really saves a lot of work. I mean, setting up a conference can be a lot of work if you have to line up all the topics and do all the scheduling. This will alleviate that by simple discussions. Then this is something that you can get involved in, or the client will contact directly the sponsor and set up whatever agendas and whatever services that they have to offer. So it saves from an organization standpoint, it saves a lot of work. In addition to that, we're going to have a library available of various webinars and topics that are business related, things like succession planning, buy-sell agreements, trusts, etc., that these business owners can access and populate onto their agendas. The important thing is once you've established a geographic purpose, if you populate some of the webinar afterwards with online courses or pre-selected categories, that's fine. You've already validated the reason for going to this geographic spot. Now you can use online courses, etc., to populate your agenda and fill out the conference. So those will be available. Again, this provides ease of structuring, ease of use, etc. And these would all be on a fee-for-service basis, which would be listed on the actual website. Pardon me. We also have what are called administrative agenda builders. And these are individuals that will be on our support side that, for example, if I'm holding a conference and I just don't feel, even though the site's pretty easy to use, I don't feel like setting up my own agendas or populating it onto the site and putting down all the topics and dates and participants, I can send that off by email to our site support, and our site support will set all the agendas based on times and dates up for them. And for that, they will pay a fee of $25 an hour. Now, it's anticipated a normal 3-day conference, for example, would probably run an hour and a half in setup time, provided the information is in usable format that's sent by the business owner. So you're looking at about $40 or so to set up a 3-day conference. If it's a shorter conference, probably less. If it's a bigger conference, probably more. This site support would be available to you too. So if you're charging a fee to help the client with setup or just doing it as a pro bono, you can access that site support as well. And if you're charging a fee and you want to charge an additional agency fee, that's up to you. And we are working on getting a tax support individual that will be a designated tax professional that will be that business owners will be able to access on the site and have them review any questions or issues they may have with their conference in terms of tax compliance. We're looking at that would be on a fee-based service too, and probably based off on in half-hour increments. We haven't got a price on that yet, but we hope to hold it to something like $49 per half hour. Again, the business owners can also go to their own existing tax advisors and have them review the conference details and everything as well to make sure there's compliance. That's about it. From the standpoint of a brief summary that I provided today, this is my contact information. You've got my phone number and my email. I'd love to talk to you more about this. I think it's a tremendous business builder for both our companies. Ours from the standpoint of providing us with a very nice business referrals and a lead generator, if you like, for the financial services we provide, but also for your company, obviously, where you can enhance your business travel and or fee-for-service business. The one thing I want to mention, perhaps I didn't cover it as well as I should have before I sign off from this presentation, is that your agency will in no way be, as far as charging the clients and everything else goes, that's totally in your ballpark. We won't be charging for travel arrangements or anything else. So you will be treating the client just as you would any other client, charging them for the travel and or fee service business. Conference Getaway, as I say, is not involved in that aspect of it. So that's my presentation. As I say, I encourage you to give me a call at your earliest convenience. We can chat some more about this. Give me a call or an email, and let's chat some more about this and see if there's an opportunity to move forward. Thank you very much for attending, and I look forward to talking to you in the near future.